Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to the orientation to the Leadership and Management in Health course. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to join us today. Our goal of conducting this webinar prior to the start of the course is to help you have a smooth start to the course, orient yourself to the course structure, learning activities, and expectations. I want to call to your attention to the right of the screen where you should see what we call a chat pod. If you have technical questions, please post them there. And Alex, our tech support for today, will assist you there. If you do have questions that are more focused on the content that we are covering today, there is a Q&A chat pod, a question and answer chat pod. So please use that to ask any questions that you have about the course. Dewa and Meg will be there to answer your questions, and this makes it easier for our team to answer your questions, and the threading feature will make it easier to see the answers to the questions. So with that said, let's meet the team. And there are quite a few of us listed on the screen right here. And the team that's putting it on, the first are Ann Downer and Britt Yamamoto, who are the two faculty members teaching this course. And then we have Dewa Greenleaf, who is our student support specialist, the TA for this course. So you will be hearing from her on a regular basis when the course is actually live. And then today we have Meg with us, but we also have Meg and Missy, who you've probably heard from by now. They are our course administrators. We have Chris Joss, who will be your course technical support. And as I had mentioned, we also have Alex on today's webinar. And then myself, Elizabeth Scott, and I am an e-learning developer for this course and your guide for the webinar today. And as you know, this course is offered by the University of Washington Department of Global Health e-learning program. We are based in Seattle, Washington, in the United States, and that is where the gold star is on the screen. The purple countries are where you and other students in this course are based. So we are quite the global course this time. And the goal of this course is to improve the delivery of quality health services by strengthening the leadership and management skills of program participants. You will learn how to approach management challenges in health settings with organizational management as a guide, pose meaningful questions about what constitutes effective leadership and management in different settings, use core principles and tools from human resource and financial management to address challenges and solve problems. You'll be able to translate insights from self-assessment into personal plans for improving skills, identify and consult appropriate sources of data for making sound management decisions, align and motivate individuals, systems, and resources toward a common purpose, design and manage systems that are responsive to national and international requirements, and demonstrate accountability to stakeholders. In addition, you'll identify monitoring and evaluation methods that answer key questions about programmatic efficiencies and effectiveness. And what we feel is most important, you will also learn how to refine and inform a professional value system by taking many assessments. This course offers many practical tools and resources to take with you into your work. And now on your screen is a list of the course modules that we will cover. These also align with the course objectives we just reviewed on the previous screen. And as you can see, there are a total of 12 weeks. That includes Module 0, the introduction module. And the course begins on September 21st. And during this first week, or Module 0, We will ask you to acclimate yourself to the online learning environment. You will need to complete some introductory materials, as well as complete a course policy quiz. This quiz is not graded, but it is required for you to complete in order to access Module 1's course materials, and of course, then move forward in the course. Each week, you will have assignments to complete. We will discuss this in more detail in the upcoming slides, but for now, please note that weeks 3, 7, and 11 are when your individual learning plans and final presentations are due. And again, we'll go over this in more detail just in a few minutes. And also want to just point out that some weeks do require a little bit more time than others. In particular, I'd like to point out that modules 2, 6, 9, and 10 involve up to 30 extra minutes of your time compared to other weeks. So my recommendation always is at the beginning, when the courses do become live, to just do a skim of all of the requirements for that week and to budget your time as best you can. We estimate that it will take about 6 to 8 hours a week to watch the video lectures, do any of the required readings, participate in discussion forums, and complete the assignments, quizzes, and optional activities. And here on the screen now is the grading rubric. As you can see, discussion forums are worth 10% of your final grade, and there are 5 of them. So they are during the mostly even weeks of the course. They are weeks 2, 4, 6, 8, and then the last week, 11. Your discussion group is, which will have about 25 to 30 people. It is different from your local site group. This is so that you can interact with other people from different regions and countries. The weekly quizzes are worth 30% of your grade. You have 2 attempts on the quizzes, and they have 10 questions each in most cases. The quizzes will cover content presented in the video lectures and required readings. There is no final exam. And then after the quizzes, there are 2 main assignments. These are the individual learning plan, or as you'll often see it or hear it referred to as the ILP, and that is worth 35 points. And then the final presentation, which rather not 35 points, but 35%. And then the final presentation is worth 25%. And then I'd like to point out one of the parentheses on the ILP is that it is divided into 3 parts. One is due during week 3, another is due during week 7, and then the final component is due in week 11. Again, all of this information is included in the course syllabus, so we will work through it together. The presentation is also given in the very last week of the course, and if you are part of a site group, you will present at your site and upload it into the course website. If you are not part of a site, you will simply just upload your final presentation into the course website. So just a note about the individual learning plan. It is a set of questions for you to reflect on from the content presented in that week's module. It is worth the most points across the entire course. It is an important exercise in that there is not only integration and content application, but self-reflection from the many assessments that you will complete. It is due at 3 points again throughout the course. And the first 2 items, for the first 2 items that are due, it's worth 5 points each. And then the last time, that third final part, it is worth 15 points. And sorry, correction when I said 5 points. It's 10 points each for parts 1 and 2, and then 15 for the final part. So please do not wait until the end. You will still earn points if you submit the final part, but you would only earn 15 points. So please, we strongly encourage you to work on this throughout the course in order to get the most out of it. And to earn a certificate of completion for this online course, you must pass the course with at least a 70% average on the graded activities. And again, those are listed on the screen. And then also would like to point out that if you are a part of a site attendance is a requirement, and you must attend 3 out of the 4 site meetings. So to talk a little bit about sites, the site meetings are a good opportunity to break into smaller groups and give others feedback on the assignments. Alternatively, you could discuss some of the case studies and other activities. For our site groups and participants, we want to make clear our commitment for your safety and security. In the midst of COVID-19 pandemic, we are asking site coordinators to follow the local health guidelines regarding safety in person gatherings. So we're encouraging sites to participate with abundance of caution by hosting site meetings remotely. So site coordinators, if you do have any questions and would like to talk to us more about this, the site participation requirement for this course, you are always welcome to email us at edgh@uw.edu. And just a note about plagiarism. In some other courses, we have had issues with plagiarism. To support academic integrity, we will be checking assignments to see if you have copied anything or plagiarized from other sources. Plagiarism is taking existing work and not crediting the source, which makes it seem like the work was your original idea. So please avoid just copying and pasting from a website or a journal article. You need to cite it, say where the source is. Here are some examples of plagiarism listed on the screen. So for example, when you have a direct quote, you must acknowledge the source, even when you paraphrase or change just a few words in a sentence or paragraph. You need to cite the source. So when in doubt, cite your source. Oops. And then just to emphasize again, plagiarism of any kind found, those assignments will result in a 0 score. So again, when in doubt, cite your source. And then also like to point out here that we do strive to resolve your questions as quickly as we can and within 24 hours to 48 hours to resolve those questions. So please remember, for many of you, we are halfway around the world. And so we may not see your question for maybe 12 hours. So we may be a little bit slower also to respond on the weekends. There are discussion forums for you to ask technical support and content questions, and Dewa will show you this in a moment. You can also email EDGH help, which is listed at the bottom of the screen, edghhelp@uw.edu. And we can respond to your questions more quickly if you include the following information. So that's what's listed on the screen here. So please include the name of the course or course topic. So for example, leadership, LMIH, the email address you're using to log into the course. I think that one is very important. So please use your email that you are using for this specific course, a detailed description of the problem, a screenshot if applicable, and then if you're experiencing the problem on a mobile device. So again, if you do have technical support questions, please email edghhelp@uw.edu. So with that, we are going to now take a demo of the course website. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and hand it over to Dewa.
Great, thank you so much for that, Liz. I will go ahead and share my screen. And just while I'm doing this, just to reiterate what Liz said in terms of how to reach us when you email us at edgh@uw.edu. Just note that we are running 3 courses this term. We have 2 other courses in addition to this one. So when you can indicate what course your question is in reference to, that is very helpful to us. Liz, can you see my screen okay?
Yes, we can.
Okay, awesome, thank you. So I want to take you on a little bit of a tour of the course website so that you can familiarize yourself with it, and so that you can you can know where to find what you need once the course starts. We will be, so just a note here, this purple bar that goes around my screen, right now I'm logged into student view, and that is so that the course will look like it will for you, as opposed to what it will look like for me as an administrator. So you can just ignore that purple bar. That won't appear for you. So I will take you through the course and show you all the different components and the different tabs that you can find all the material that you need. Before we start that, I just wanted to show you real quick. I'm going to minimize my screen, and I wanted to show you what the course page would look like if you were accessing it on a mobile device. So you'll see that the course homepage is here. You can scroll down to see additional material here. And then I just want to point you to the top of this purple bar on the left side. There's these 3 white lines. If you click on that, that gives you the main navigation for Canvas. So that is where you can access your account information, your inbox for any email messages, your calendar, and then the dashboard will show you any other courses if you are enrolled in any other courses at the time. And then this, in the center, if you click on this arrow, this white arrow, that will take you to kind of the main navigation for the course. So this is what I'll be taking you through on this little tour of the course. So just to kind of note that if you are accessing the course on a mobile device, that these navigation bars are at the top here and here. Whereas if you are accessing it on a laptop or a computer, they will be on your left side. So here's our main navigation bar for the for Canvas in general, and then next to that is the navigation bar for the course itself. So this is our home page for the course. You can see our course instructors listed here. Below that, we've got a little bit of information, some welcome information, a hyperlink to the syllabus. Anytime you see this kind of underlined purple text, you can click on that and it will take you directly to that page in the course. The announcements are also hyperlinked here. I will show you those in a moment. And so are the modules, the introductory module, and then some information on the technical requirements for the course. So that is our course homepage. Scrolling back up to the top, you can see that on the right side of the screen, there is a list, a to-do list of assignments that are coming up. So any assignments that you have not yet completed that will be due soon will show up here. And if you hover over the name of the assignment, you can click on that and it will take you directly to that assignment. So it shows you, for example, for the Module 1 quiz, it shows you how many points it's worth, and it also shows you the due date. And all of our assignments are due at 11:59 p.m., so the end of the day on that date. that is listed. So those are listed there. The next tab that I will show you is the syllabus tab. So you can see some information about our instructors here, contact information. And then after that is a course description, which Liz went over in her portion of the orientation. Here you can click on here to download a PDF version of the course syllabus, which I would recommend that you do for easy access to the course syllabus. And there's also a link here to the course policy quiz, which I'll talk a little bit more about once we get to the assignments. And then we have the course aims listed out. Liz went over these in her portion. The target audience, the format of the course, the materials, all the course materials are provided on this course homepage, on this course page. And so there are no additional materials that are outside of Canvas for this course. Next, we have the assignment, the grading rubric for the assignments, which Liz also went over. And late work policy, which I'll talk about a bit more detail when we go over the assignments. And then some statements for academic integrity or religious accommodations, information on technical requirements. Again, this link to the technical support discussion board, which I will show you where that's listed under the discussions as well. And then some information on our guest lectures. At the very bottom of the syllabus page, you will see a course summary. And this will have all of the assignments for the course listed out. So you can see the due date and then the assignments that are due on each of those dates and all the way to the very end here. So this is one of several places where you can access the assignments. There's several other access points for the assignments, and I will show those to you. The next tab that I want to walk you through is the announcements tab. So the announcements are, usually I send out at least one announcement a week, usually sometimes 2 or 3, but at least one announcement a week is sent out, and it will give you an overview of what to expect that week. So right now I just have the welcome to the course assignment up, and that you will receive when the course opens. And that announcement will give you information on what to expect that initial week. So any assignments that are due will be linked. Any due dates are listed. So it kind of just gives you a great starting point for what to expect. So
yeah, well, sorry to interrupt. Getting some
sure.
comments that the voice volume is a little low. Could you maybe a bit closer?
I sure can. Is that better?
Sounds great.
Okay, great. Thanks for the heads up on that. So these announcements will go to your email. However, if you accidentally delete the email or if you can't seem to find it, you can always go to Canvas and click on announcements, and they will all be listed here. The next tab is the modules tab. And the modules are where you can find all the course material. So the first section is the introductory module. And this is information that you'll want to go through when you first get into the course, and it'll just help you to be successful in the course. There's information about that technical requirements and technical support questions that we saw earlier, information on expectations for participating in discussions. This orientation that we're doing right now will be the recording for that can be found here. Some frequently asked questions, the information that Liz went over about plagiarism, information on how to be successful in an online course, some historical perspective on leadership, and what a great leader is in the 21st century. There is a discussion forum here, and that will allow you to introduce yourself to your discussion group. When you are added to the course, you will be randomly assigned to a discussion forum. And As Liz mentioned, that forum will be made up of about 30 individuals. Again, this forum will be randomly assigned. So if you are taking the course as part of a site, you won't necessarily be in the discussion group with your site, with your fellow site members. So those groups will be assigned to you once you enter the course. You'll automatically be routed to your discussion group. And this introduce yourself discussion will just allow you to introduce yourself and kind of get to know the other members of your group. The next thing listed here is the course policy quiz. So you can see here that the course policy quiz is worth 0 points. So it does not count towards your final grade, but it is a quiz that goes over all the introductory material and also the course syllabus. So once you've reviewed the course syllabus and the introductory material, I would encourage you to take the course policy quiz. Again, the score that you receive does not count towards your final grade. However, the quiz is required in order for you to move on to modules 1 and 2. So you will want to complete that quiz, and then once you do, you'll get access to module 1. So you can see, as I scroll down, you can see all of our modules listed. And most of them are grayed out because they do unlock. There's kind of a rolling unlocking of the modules. However, our modules will open 2 weeks before we cover them. So if you do want to work ahead, you are welcome to do so. And those modules will be made available to you kind of on a rolling basis. So I want to take you into module 1 so you get an idea of what a module page looks like. So you can see here the title of module 1 is the Leading and Managing Framework. There's a bit of introductory text in terms of what you can expect to see in this module. The learning objectives are listed out. And then you can see that our the lecture videos are listed here. So there are a few options for how you can view the lectures. The lectures, you can either click play and stream it and stream the video itself. You can also download an MP3 version of the video and view it later. You can also download an audio version of the lecture and listen to that. And then there's also a PDF transcript of the lecture. So if you happen to find yourself in an area that has low bandwidth, the downloadable options might be, those would be good options for you so that you don't miss out on any material. So you can see here that the lectures as well as assignments, and then more lectures. Here's some questions to reflect on from this lecture. The readings, all of the material for this module is listed here. So everything you need for module 1 can be found under the modules page for module 1. And then I'll scroll here towards the bottom and you can see that we have this module 1 quiz listed here. And that is the only assignment that is due for module 1 that you can submit. And that will link you right to the assignment itself. So let me go back to modules. And so the kind of overview that I showed you for module 1 is the same for all of the following modules. So all the information you need can be found in this modules page. So as we've seen, the assignments are linked in several places in the course. Another place that the assignments are linked is using this assignments tab here. And you can see that the assignments are listed by due date and they're all listed out here. You can also, right now they're shown by date, but you can also have the option to show them by assignment type. So here we've got these, the ILP in the final presentation, we've got the discussions listed out and the quizzes. So just to note that there is a quiz every week, every module has a quiz except for module 11, the final module. And then the discussions, there are discussions only in modules 2, 4, 6, 8, and 11. So not every module has a discussion due. And then you can see our larger assignments listed here. So just a note about due dates. So we'll go down and take a look at the Module 1 quiz here, since that's the first assignment due. So our Module 1 quiz is due on October 4th. And once you complete the course policy quiz, Module 1 will be available to you. So once you complete that, you can start going through Module 1, and as soon as you are ready, you can complete the Module 1 quiz. But the due date for the Module 1 quiz is October 4th. And just a note, so we have due dates for all of our assignments, but we also understand that things happen, things come up, and sometimes it makes it challenging to submit an assignment on time. And so all of our assignments have a week of grace period that you can complete the assignment up to a week after it is due without any penalty. So for example, for the Module 1 quiz, it's due October 4th. So you would have an additional week on top of that to complete the quiz. So you would be able to complete that quiz up to October 11th without penalty. It will be marked late, so you'll see that marking on your assignment if you submit it late, but there's no penalty for submitting an assignment late. Now, once that assignment closes, so for example, for the Module 1 quiz, it would close October 11th at 11:59 p.m. Once that assignment closes, it can no longer be submitted for grading. So I would encourage you, since the assignments open 2 weeks early, and since you have an additional week to complete it, I would encourage you, if you know that you have something coming up in your schedule that will make it difficult for you to complete an assignment, I would encourage you to complete it early whenever possible. And then you can also feel free to take advantage of that week afterwards to complete it late. But just please note that once the assignment closes, it can no longer be completed. And just a note about the assignment breakdown. So you can see that the quizzes are each worth 3 points. And there's 10 of them, so it's worth 30% of your total grade. And the discussions are worth 2 points. There's 5 of them, and that is worth 10% of your total grade. And these assignments, the ILP, parts 1, 2, and then the final presentation, combined are worth 60% of your total grade. So I would really encourage you to not miss out on submitting those assignments. If you miss a discussion or if you miss a quiz, it won't greatly impact your final grade, but these larger assignments, missing those will negatively impact your final grade. So just a word of advice to just try to keep on top of those and complete those early if needed, so that you can be sure that you don't miss out on those assignments. So the next tab that I want to show you is the discussions tab. You can see that there are 3 pinned discussions listed here, the technical support discussion forum. If you have any technical support issues that you need answers to, you can post them there. The next one is the course content forum. If you have any course content related questions or any grading related questions, you can list them there. And then the third is the Classroom Cafe, which is just a place for you to socialize with your class peers, and that doesn't have to necessarily be related to course material. And then below that, you can see our 5 discussion forums listed. The Module 2, 4, 6, 8, and 11 forums are listed here, as well as the introductory discussion. The next tab I want to show you is the quizzes tab. And again, this is just another way that you can access the quizzes in addition to the other places that I've shown you. The quizzes are all listed here, so you can find them. And there are some practice quizzes that are found throughout the modules. These are optional. I would encourage you to complete them, but they are not, they don't count towards your final grade. So you can find those practice quizzes throughout the various modules. And then the final tab that I wanted to show you is the grades tab. So once you start completing assignments, your grades will be posted here. You can see the grading rubric listed on the right side of the screen. And then your score would be listed here, and it shows you out of how many points that assignment is worth. And then if you scroll to the very bottom, it will give you kind of a running total of what your current grade is with the assignments that are due at that time. So just a note about grading since we're here. So grades are always posted the Monday after an assignment is due. So quizzes are automatically graded. So when you complete a quiz, your grade will be posted automatically. Sometimes there's a few minutes lag in terms of your grade showing up, but they will be posted automatically. Discussion and assignment grades are always posted the Monday after the assignment is due. So for the Module 2 discussion, it is due October 11th. And so grades for the Module 2 discussion will be posted by the end of the day on October 12th. Again, you can complete assignments late, and I usually update late submission grades once a day. And I'll share more information about this via email, but grades will be updated kind of daily during that period of that you can complete the assignment where it's open, but the due date has passed. Okay, so that is kind of a general overview of our course page and where you can find, hopefully, all the things that you will need to be successful in the course. That wraps up my portion. I will open it up to my colleagues here and see if there's any questions that I can answer that came in while I was talking.
Yeah, tell you what, could you talk a little bit about time zones and how to potentially configure Canvas to reflect their time zone, if that's advisable?
Yes. So, and I believe that we have some resources on some instructions on how to adjust Canvas so that these due dates are listed in your time zone. All these due dates, thanks, Meg, I forgot to mention that all these due dates are Pacific time. And so there is a way that you can change your settings so that it's set to your time zone so that those are, that might be more convenient to you. And we will share that information with you. We have some resources on that.
Yeah, we can include that when we send out the webinar recording information to site coordinators and independent participants. We can include that link as well.
Thanks, Meg.
Yeah.
There's a question here. Is the full meaning of the ILP? The ILP stands for Integrated Learning Plan, and it is the kind of main, one of the main assignments for the course. It's something that you'll be working on every module. So once you go through the module, there will be questions that you can answer in the ILP document. And so it's just kind of almost like a running journal document as you reflect on material that you learn from the course. So it will be a lot more clear to you once we get into the course and you see the assignment itself. It will make a lot more sense. But the biggest thing that I want you to take away from with the ILP is that it is definitely something you want to work on every week, and you don't want to save it for the very end. Again, we did break up the ILP so that it's due in modules 3, or part 1 is due in module 3, part 2 is due in module 7, and then the final fully completed ILP you will be submitting in module 10 of the course. And we did that just so that it would help people just keep on top of that assignment, because it is definitely something that you'll want to do as you approach the material and go through each module one at a time.
And Deva, just to jump in real quick, for those who were curious about the time zone, I did include it in the chat panel. You might need to scroll up just a little bit, but there is a hyperlink guide on how to adjust your time zone. So if you do want to grab it, maybe bookmark it, save it for later. And then, as Meg said, we'll also include it in the email that will be sent out.
Great. Awesome. Thanks for doing that.
So there's a question here. It says, is the course material for Module 1 available during the course of this week? Okay, so the deadline for the course policy quiz, there's no due date for it. You just need it in order to move on to Module 1 and 2. So you'll want to do it as soon as you go through the course syllabus and the introductory material. And then the course, and then Module 1 will be made available once the course starts, because we do open the material a week early. So hopefully that answers that question.
Okay, a couple other questions coming in. Again, the ILP stands for Individual Learning Plan. People are asking if we can get a recorded version of the orientation. Yes, we will be emailing this out to site coordinators to provide to their participants at their site, and also to independent participants, so those that are not part of a site group. So we will send that. Typically, we're able to send the same day, but sometimes the download takes some time, so it may be tomorrow, but otherwise we should be sending today, our time, understanding that it's the beginning of our day. Probably towards the end of many of yours.
So there's a question here about how independent participants, how that works for discussions on Canvas. And independent participants are treated exactly the same as site participants in terms of everyone is randomly assigned to a discussion group. So if you're taking the course as an independent participant, it will work exactly the same for you in the Canvas online discussion forum as it would for a site participant. Do you want to take this question about site meetings?
Yeah, I was just going to mention, there are typically a lot of great questions about site meetings. And so I just want to highlight a little bit more that if you applied to the course as part of a site, meaning that you are connected to an organization or a coordinator that is organizing a group of people to take the course together, you are going to take the course as an individual, meaning that you will earn your own grade, but you have the benefit of working with your colleagues to discuss the materials at your local level, how it applies to your community and your work. There are different groups of people taking this course all across the world. And so it's really helpful to be able to synthesize that information in that way. And we found this model of using site groups has been really positive. With that, we ask that you get together and have what we call site meetings. The minimum amount of site meetings to earn a certificate at the end of the course, if you otherwise are passing with a good score of 70% or higher. As long as you do that, and you also attend at least 4 meetings. Now, your site may choose to meet weekly, or maybe your site divides up into even smaller groups and they meet twice a week. That is perfectly fine. But we're just saying that the minimum amount of meetings that your site should be hosting is at least 4. Of those 4, you should be attending at least 3 of them. So our goal is that you're being engaged with your site group. If you have questions, if you have not heard from your site coordinator, if you don't know who they are, please email us at edgh@uw.edu, and we will be very happy to help connect you and get you set up. Their site coordinators are working really, really hard. They have quite a job to rally everyone in their group. So perhaps something just got lost, and we're happy to get you reconnected again. Those meetings can look very different. It may look like a Zoom call. It may look like a phone conference line. It may be a closed private Facebook group where people are engaged together that way. It may be on WhatsApp. We don't typically recommend WhatsApp for meetings, but there have been some very successful site coordinators processing their meetings that way. So there's lots of different ways that those meetings may work. And then if in an okay setting for you, sometimes meetings are happening in person, which was previous to the pandemic, something we very much preferred. So I hope that answers some of the questions about how often you should be having meetings, how many you should be participating in. If you still have questions, I really encourage you to ask your site coordinator or email us directly. Again, that email is uw.edu. So hopefully that helps a little bit. But again, if you still have questions, let us know.
So I can take the next question here regarding the course.
Hey, Dewa, can I jump in before the Q&A questions? Because we have quite a lot in the chat panel that I'm trying to keep on top of. And I just want, since it does get a little messy in the chat panel, I just wanted to address a few of them because I keep seeing more coming in. And for those who do have a question that maybe we haven't addressed it yet, but you still would like, could you please type it in the question and answer chat panel, because we don't want to accidentally overlook anyone's questions. But if Dewa, if you give me a moment. Someone had asked the best way to navigate accessing assignments. As you can see on the screen, there are hyperlinks to assignments, discussions, and quizzes to the left, but also in each module, all of the content is located there. So if you are going through a recorded lecture or whatever it might be, and then you're ready to take the quiz, there will be a hyperlink in that module page for the quiz. Course materials are also only available in Canvas. They will not be emailed, but everything is accessible. You can download it. So if your streaming isn't great, we have lower bandwidth options to download those materials and view them offline. If you do have technical problems, that's again where we'll use the discussion forum technical support or edgh@uw.edu, and we will help you via that way, because we understand things happen, technical problems always arise. We will work with you to make sure you get the content, but it is not emailed. It is listed in this online learning environment. And then bear with me, Dewa, still scrolling through a few extras. For those curious about the course policy quiz, it will be available. You'll gain access, I believe, September 20th. Is that correct, Dewa?
September 21st is when the course starts.
Correction, September 21st.
Yeah, so we typically will add around Friday the 18th. We don't usually add over the weekend. So you'll have a couple of days before this course starts to acclimate to the course website and all of that. And then it starts on Monday, the 21st.
Great. And just remember, everyone, the first week is module 0. So that is where we're just going to focus on those introductory course materials and that course policy quiz. So no need to feel overwhelmed about having to acclimate and also diving into week 1. There was a question about if a student does not get a completion of 70%, are students allowed to complete the course again? Is that correct? Yes, they can.
Did you want to take that question?
I'm so sorry, I missed the first part of that question. If they had previously taken the course, can they take it again?
Yes, if they did not pass, can they take
of course. Yes, they're more than welcome to take the course again.
Okay, and is it permitted to defer the course? Yes, it is.
Yes.
Anything you would like
absolutely.
to add to that?
We just ask that you email us and let us know, and then discuss if you have any questions about what that means. But we're happy to support. We know how busy you all are, and we're happy to support getting you back into the course when it makes most sense.
Okay, thank you, Meg. And then There were a few questions, more questions about the site meetings. I hope everyone was able to hear what Meg had said before I jumped in about the variety of ways that people can meet on site meetings. So if you need to, we will have this recorded and sent out to everyone, so we can always revisit this conversation here. But if you do have specific questions, again, emailing us at edgh@uw.edu will help the best. And someone did ask a question, what is the difference between discussion groups and site meetings? Discussion groups will involve everyone, that's including those that are individually enrolled. These are graded assignments that occur directly in this online learning environment. Those will happen every other week in the course. And your site meetings are really meant for your enrolled group, the people that you enrolled in this course with, to connect. Think of it more like a study group. And that is going to occur 4 times. And correct me if I'm wrong, Meg, this is that first meeting, correct?
Well, if they're together taking doing the webinar together, then yeah, it can be the first meeting, but that's really more up to the site coordinator and how they're organizing their site. But yeah, I like what you said about considering the site meetings to be kind of more of a study group and kind of some, processing the materials of the course in more your local context, whereas your discussion group is going to be made up of people all over the world. And so in that case, you can discuss the materials more succinctly in that from that perspective.
And then I am down to the last question, well, before we jump back into that Q&A. Actually, 2 more. Just remember, everyone, we would love it if you could post your questions into the question and answer chat panel. Again, we don't want to overlook anyone's questions. Someone has asked if there's additional apps that are needed to facilitate their learning experience. Everything you will need should be located in this online learning environment, Canvas, which you will apparently on September 18th, not the 21st, be given an email that will have your information to log into your course. And then the last question, how many times is a participant allowed to complete one course? And it is not 75%. It is 70% to receive a certificate of completion for this course. But you can retake the course if you want to.
Great, thank you so much for going through that chat and finding those questions, Liz. We just have a few more minutes here, and we definitely want to be mindful of everyone's time. So we'll try to wrap up the final questions that are coming in. So the course, there was a question about the course policy quiz. It will be made available when the course starts, which is on September 21st. So once the course starts, you will have access to the course policy quiz. You are welcome to look ahead in the course. As soon as a module opens, if you want to go ahead and complete it and complete the assignments for it, you are definitely welcome and encouraged to do so. Just note that if you submit an assignment early, like for example, if you submit the ILP Part 1 early, your grade for that won't be posted until the day after it is due. So grades are always posted the day after an assignment is due. So if you submit an assignment early, just know that your grade will be posted later on. Meg, were there any questions that you wanted to take?
Yes. So the independent participants, so those of you that are not part of a site, you will be automatically assigned to a discussion group just like everyone else, and you'll be able to participate in those anytime and throughout the course. If you have more specific questions about that, again, of course, you can email us. Dewa, there's a question asking about ground rules of the course. Do you want to talk about where they can access norms and information through Canvas?
Yes, so all of that information can be found in the introductory module in the course syllabus. So you will be going through that material as soon as the course starts, and then you'll have the course policy quiz that will kind of help you cement some of that information that you've gone over. So yeah, that will all be forthcoming.
Okay. Question came in about asking if there was a discount for retaking the course. And typically we do not have a system for that. But if you email us directly, we can talk about your specific situation, and there may be something that we can work on either with you directly or with your site coordinator. But no, there isn't a discount. We work really hard to keep our fees as low as possible. And so it's very difficult for us to discount it further. But again, we welcome you to reach out to us via email and we can talk more. Another question about the time zone. We're not able to provide a demonstration of adjusting the time zone. There is a link that Elizabeth added to the chat, but we will be sending that out via email as well. There's also opportunities to adjust that throughout the process in the course. So we'll make sure that you get that information.
There was a question here about whether if you submit an assignment early, if you can make changes to it. Yes, if you submit, for example, if you submit your ILP Part 1 and you realize that you wanted to add to it and you've done so before the due date, you are welcome to make any changes that you would like to your assignment before the due date.
There was a quick question about site meetings using Zoom. Again, for those who might have joined late, Meg did a wonderful cover of how site meetings can occur, but it is really up to each individual site group how they will interact with one another. So it could be Zoom, but it could be WhatsApp, it could be another tool.
Still, there's a couple questions here about the assignments and the lectures. So basically every week we will be releasing a new module with more information. So the lectures and all of the assignment information, discussion, quiz information will be available in that new module. And you can then access that module anytime you want throughout the week. So you'll be able to review the lectures and the course materials anytime that works in your schedule. You want to make sure that you're staying up on the course every week. So you don't want to wait 3 weeks and then dive in. But it is really accessible at your schedule. Again, we know you're busy. Everybody's in different time zones. So we make the information available at the beginning of the week, and then you have the whole week to review it. And you can also go back and look at past modules.
Just trying to answer some of
apply for this. Oh, sorry, Dewa, go ahead.
Oh, I was just trying to answer some of these as well. In terms of the amount of time required for the course, we say that typically you should expect to spend 6 to 9 hours on the course each week. As Liz highlighted in her section, there are 3 modules that are a bit more dense. And Liz, can you remind us what those modules were?
The ones that are a little bit more time intensive?
Yes.
Yes. And those are, bear with me.
Sorry,
those were modules 2, 6, 9, and 10 may require up to 30 extra minutes of your time compared to other weeks.
Thank you so much, Liz.
There's a question here asking how many people are taking this course globally, and we're at about 4,000 people, which is really exciting. We do offer this particular course twice a year, and so we tend to have a higher enrollment at this time of year, and then we also offer it in the spring, starting around April, and usually it's more like 2,000 to 3,000 at that time. We are probably at time. I know there's a lot of questions left, and we really, I don't mind staying just a little bit longer, but I just want to let you know that if your question doesn't get answered, you are always, always welcome to email us, and we would be more than happy to answer you as soon as we can.
Thank you, Meg. And if you have any questions regarding payment or regarding about accessing, of course, if you don't know or if you don't remember what your username or password is, please email us at edgh@uw.edu and we can help you with that.
Yeah. Just one final note, we will be, payment for this course is due by the 14th. If you need to be a few days late, we always understand. Just please know that the later you pay, that may delay your access to the course. So we hope that you can submit your payment if you are part of a site. Your site coordinator will be doing that on behalf of the whole site. And if you are an independent participant, then you're responsible for your own payment. And we look forward to getting access to the course to you at that point. We'll send you a specific link and login instructions, and then you'll be able to move forward. So right now, even if you see this URL here, you won't be able to access the course until you've been given specific permissions from our team. We are really excited about this course and your involvement, and thank you for joining us today.
Yes, thank you all. We're looking forward to a great course.